We are back here with Money, Motivation, and Mike. And I am your host, Michael Wainwright. On the other end and in charge of the show is Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that will change your life. And speaking of the world, Jason, I think the world kind of changed just a tad this last weekend, or actually January the 6th, as we were talking about on our previous episode with the capturing of Venezuela President Maduro. We're going to continue on with that. We gave the timeline of what happened in the last episode, and now we'll move forward and talk about the aftermath. And as the U.S. administration of Trump is saying, former Venezuela President Nicolás Maduro, who spent the night in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. And as you said, Jason, in a previous episode, they flew right by the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Do you think they made him stand up in the helicopter and salute?
Probably had his face up against the window.
For liberty and justice for all, right?
That's right.
He and his wife, that overnight U.S. military operation called Operation Absolute Resolve, took place, and everything is great. And Maduro and his wife, by the way, have pled not guilty. I mean, they appeared very distraught in their initial court appearance, with the leaders claiming, and Maduro claiming he's still the president. And his quote is, "Still the president of my country." He's just, I guess he's kind of like the Godfathers who get arrested, put in prison. They're still controlling the show from the prison.
Yeah.
I guess he's still controlling the show from Brooklyn, New York right now.
I don't know how he's communicating it.
That's a great question. But now, they're calling it right now narco-terrorism charges. I think there are also drug charges involved in there as well. But they're considered terrorists, or they're recognized as terrorists. So last Monday, Trump administration briefed the lawmakers on what has taken place. Largely enthusiastic Republicans and skeptical Democrats.
Of course.
And could we say that if this had happened during the Biden administration, it would have been very happy Democrats and skeptical Republicans?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's
the way it works.
It's a great country.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what is going to happen with Venezuela's future, including when will an election now take place? Because who's the lady that's now in charge down there you'd mentioned?
Delcy Rodriguez.
Delcy Rodriguez. So, as you know, Trump has vowed to run Venezuela right there from the nation's capital.
I think it's going to be Marco Rubio's 15th job.
And I do. That's right. I did read that. Where Rubio tells G7 foreign ministers Venezuela people will elect a legitimate president in the future under our watch.
Yes.
That's exactly right. So nevertheless, yeah, Rubio, he needs something to do.
He ain't got enough things on his plate.
Do you think he ever sleeps?
No. I'm not sure Trump does either.
Yes. But Trump's just making sure Rubio's doing his job.
And what a good leader does.
Rubio's out there having to do it. So nevertheless, now, one of the things that was also big on this deal is Trump wants oil companies to invest in Venezuela. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And that, what was it, 30 million barrels of oil that the Venezuela authorities have already ready to give the U.S., something along those lines, 30 to 50 million barrels of oil.
Yeah, I believe Trump wants to take it and sell it on the market at market price, and then let it benefit both Venezuela and the U.S.
Yeah, and I read on that where that said, and that's exactly what he was quoted as saying, 30 to 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil, by the way, Jason.
Yeah, they are a heavy oil, which is what's great for our refineries here in the U.S.
Top grade stuff, huh?
That's right.
Now, this is, of course, this is in Trump's way, and it's great. The president claimed that the oil would be sold at market price and that the revenue from the sales, and this is quote, will be controlled by me, end quote. I believe that 100%. He's going to control it. Now, how are we going to benefit the Venezuela and the United States people at the same time? Do you think that that's really going to take place?
Well, if they're getting part of the sales, and you also got to think too that if you have all these oil companies going back in there, which America, I shouldn't say America because I believe some of these, like BP is not American company, but some of these oil companies had gone in many years ago and built all this infrastructure for that. And then it was taken by, I believe it was Hugo Chavez, the previous president before Maduro.
Well, Trump has basically put U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright, no relation to us that I recognize. Now, if he calls and wants some advice, you let me know, and we will be right on top of that. But Chris Wright, Energy Secretary, will organize and process the collection of the oil, and it's transferring from Venezuela to the U.S. And he's talking about taking it right up to the docks and putting it on oil trucks and taking it on out. Yep. So we'll see what happens. Now, back on this, the vice president, I call her, that's now, I would say, in charge, but taking her orders directly from Washington, D.C. Let's go back to Maria Machado, who says that she represents the Venezuela people, and they have picked her movement to come along and lead this country, and where she is and all this. She's ready and willing to serve those folks, and she feels that she's been mandated to do that because the former legislature, Maria Machado, won a primary race to run against Maduro, former President Maduro, in Venezuela's 2024 presidential election. The Venezuela government then banned her from running, but retired diplomat Edmundo Gonzalez stepped in as a replacement. Now, even though they banned her and this diplomat Gonzalez stepped in, the U.S. and other governments around the world recognize Gonzalez as the winner after the Maduro government was accused of rigging the vote tallies. So, is Gonzalez going to play a part in this? Because, like I say, the big boy governments of the world recognize him as the winner of the presidential election of 2024.
Yeah. Well, I think Trump is essentially allowing their existing condition in which a president's been removed, succession would go to vice president. I think he's allowing that to occur and then actually have an actual election at some point. Now, when that election will be, anybody's guess? I don't think anybody knows right now, but it could be years down the road still.
Hey, see if you can get a hold of Rubio. I bet he knows.
I'm not sure he does either.
I think Rubio will be in charge of.
I think it's a fluid situation. See how things are going.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, of course, Senate Minority Leader Big Chuck Schumer, was dissatisfied with the classified briefing of the top administration officials.
Imagine it.
You were aware of this, right? You knew this before I told you?
Didn't have to tell me he was disgruntled about the whole situation.
Schumer said the administration has done step one in taking out Maduro, but they have no idea what steps 2 through 10 are going to be, which gives us all a great deal of worry. Maybe we need to figure out what our next plan of action is, and I have a lot of confidence that we probably already know. But nevertheless, I'm not worried. Are you worried?
We'll let it play out, see what happens. I'm not really losing any sleep over it.
I don't think Senate Minority Leader Schumer is worried either, but he's going to say he is. But nevertheless, he didn't get the answers he wanted, and he doesn't think, Rome wasn't built overnight. You can't show up, that old saying, you can't show up and give what you're going to do for the next 12 months worth of information on what I consider to be a celebration of taking down their president. But hey, nevertheless, whatever. Going back on Maria Machado, who was She actually won that election, or the primary, to run against President Maduro, which I think is pretty. How do the Venezuelan people allow that to happen? Because Maduro's more of a Fidel Castro, type of person. Maybe that's the way it is. But anyway, she went out and became an architect on, not an architect in general, but drew up how they were going to deal with the new regime. And one of their number one agenda items was being very, very friendly with the United States of America. That was on her watch.
That's a good idea, no matter who you are.
Yes. Yeah. But the Trump administration nor the Biden administration ever endorsed her. Because, typically the world leader of the United States of America endorses people, even though he or she doesn't have a vote. It's all been he to this point. Don't have a vote in that particular country. Their voice makes votes. And they never recognized her, even though, well, like I say, they point out here on the guy that got put in as the actual winner of the election back in 2024. So it'll be anxious to see where that and also the capturing of Greenland goes, Jason.
Yeah, we'll see if it comes to that.
You think we're just going to take in Greenland, or is that going to be the 51st state?
I don't know. I know there were some more discussions between Greenland and Marco Rubio. I believe it was just yesterday.
It goes back to, hey, obviously Hawaii is a great place. The pictures that I've ever seen, and the Elvis Presley movie Blue Hawaii back in the 60s that I've watched as reruns. Why would we go out there and take in that island as a state? Same thing with Greenland. What is it? The resources that Greenland has?
No, it's the strategic military placement. Just like we have Pearl Harbor. It's the first stop between China and the U.S. Greenland is actually in the direct path from Russia for their ICBMs.
Is that right? I thought Greenland was up on the East Coast.
When you, for example, a flight that goes over the North Pole.
Yep.
Same thing.
Well, I know that, like when you fly to the United States and you go to Europe, you're right up there on top of it.
Yeah. If you're flying out of New
York.
Why?
Because the world is round.
Yeah. It's actually shorter to go from, to go over the pole than it is to just actually fly directly across the Pacific.
Yeah. You pull out a map and you look.
Yeah.
Why would you go up there? Why wouldn't you just go straight across?
Yep.
Because straight across is not the shortest distance between 2 points.
A lot of people don't think about going over the poles, and especially when you're already that far north, and it is closer to go that direction.
Something else that's very interesting throughout all this that's gotten attention is the Colombians. Colombia is now ready to meet with the U.S.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yep. Colombia Foreign Affairs Minister Rosa, I can't even say her last name, Villavicencio, said Tuesday she will meet with U.S. Embassy Charles d'Affaires in Bogota to present him with a formal complaint over the threats issued by the U.S. to Colombia.
Yeah,
because you said, I think that Cuba and a few others are names that have been coming out of the president's mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I've always looked in my 57 years of life as Colombia as a bad place.
One of the top countries for producing drugs and whatever.
The little white stuff.
Yep.
And well, that's also why we went down and got Manuel Noriega out of Panama.
Yes.
Because he was making deals and letting it come across his country. And then, as we all know, when you get it into Mexico, you can do about whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Seems to be the default trade down there.
So nevertheless, Colombia has initiated conversations to have talks. Now, they're going to come with the big boy attitude, like we're somebody that will quickly get shot down. And this is what you're going to do, I'm sure.
Have they met Trump? I'm not sure how far that's going to go.
I bet they've read about him in the newspaper.
Yeah. Yep.
They must not have TV and radio and social media down in the Colombian area.
Yeah.
Maybe
if they think that's going to work.
They might want to get the Colombian ambassador a little bit more knowledge. She needs to go down there and tell the president of Colombia what's going on.
Yeah.
That he probably needs to get himself prepared.
I'm not sure if they have an alternative method.
They have no alternative method.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't believe anybody does.
Yeah.
Nobody has an alternative method. When the United States of America wants to put pressure on somebody, that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. As
in how 150 aircraft go into Venezuela.
Yeah.
And take it over.
Yeah.
In essence, that's the way I look at it.
And here's the thing. We could have pulled that operation in 3 different places at the same time.
There you go. But Trump has also come out and said last Sunday he wasn't ruling out an attack on Colombia. It's already been put in there. That the president down there is this is his quote, a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Because that is, I had a client 15 years ago. I don't know if you even know this, Jason. I had a client 15 years ago who was going down to Panama City to possibly get involved in a business. And I had to go with him to overlook the financial stuff. Now, while we were there, he wanted to go out and fish. I don't even know what waters it was back then. But nevertheless, this fishing camp we were going to go to was at the bottom, was South Panama. We were within 20 miles of the Colombian border. And it's the scaredest I have ever been in my life.
It would be an uncomfortable situation for sure.
As you approach that border, Jason, every 5 miles, there was a checkpoint. And
Colombia?
We never got to Colombia.
Yeah.
But a checkpoint, I'm sure the Colombians had something to do with it, but about every 5 miles as we're driving down there, and we had a driver that drove us down there. He arranged a driver. Every 5 miles, there's a checkpoint. And the 4, 5, 6, 8 people that are there seem like they all have 3 machine guns. And you hand over your passport, they look it over, they don't say a word. The driver, hey, give me your passports. Hands them over. They look at them, hand them back, they don't say a word. It's kind of like, move on.
Yep. Scary situation.
Yes. And I know several of my clients who own real estate in Panama City. So there's a lot of, there's numerous folks that travel down and visit that particular area of the world quite often. By the way, we went to Manuel Noriega's house. Now we took him down in 1994.
Yeah.
Clinton went down there and got him.
Yeah.
We took him down in 1994, and that house has not been touched since. Dilapidated. It's got signs that says private property, keep off. I mean, it's a compound. You know, the brick fence around it is broke down. Well, we had to go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I picked me up one of those Manuel Noriega compound house bricks to bring back with me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it didn't make it through customs.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That'd been a good piece to have on your display.
Yeah, I guess that's how ignorant I am, thinking that I was going to get that through there.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I didn't.
Hey, it's worth a shot.
So anyway, that's an example of going down here and getting Maduro. You got Manuel Noriega 30 years ago. We're now talking about the Colombians, which frankly should have been dealt with a long time ago, Jason. Should have been dealt with a long time ago.
For sure.
Yes. So nevertheless, any other thoughts on Venezuela on your end of the table before we move on to bigger and better things on the next episode?
Yeah, just wait and see what happens.
Clean operation.
Yep.
And looks like it was definitely a success. No casualties, no $40 million aircraft dissolved and disposed of.
Yeah.
All good. Contact us at info@mx3.vip. Find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@mx3 Podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all the content that comes out every Monday and Thursday mornings. Also, go down, give us some feedback in our comment section, correct?
Yep.
I call it the chat.
Let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think. And we need that in a big time way. I like to know what you're talking about. Nevertheless, for everyone who's been a part of this show, continue to live your life the right way.